back, everybody, to Starseed Mission Support. Welcome to January 2023. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes here. Just breathe, slow down, arrive here in this space with me. And just bask in these angelic frequencies for a moment out of your day. I welcome you into this space. Welcome to Starseed Mission Support. Take some nice, long, steady breaths into the body together. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Starseed Mission Support. I'm very excited to bring you this discussion today about the Aurora energies, the Aurora technologies that are radiating into the earth, and just to offer some support in these integration. Because I know that it can be feeling very intense because these energies really stir up so much in our field. Last night we had our beautiful sister circle inside of the ISA community, and there was a lot of tears, a lot of waterworks. It is a Cancer full moon after all, but we're having a hard time. And I think a lot of human beings are having a hard time as well. And believe it or not, the energies aren't even turned up all the way. And this is not really going to slow down for the next little while. So I just want to offer my love and my support to you today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Aurora technologies, the Stargates, Trinity hub gate systems that are coming online on the planet. I'll share a little bit more about a lot of this information really came in when I was in Machu Picchu. I feel like this solstice is really what kicked off a lot of these activations. So I'll tell you about the aurora and really what it is. And I really think that we are all connected to this energy. I think that all star seeds are connected. I think that all star seeds are connected and working um, with the same energy. And so I personally feel that that energy would be the guardian energy, the aurora energy, the crystal consciousness, crystalline consciousness, Christic consciousness. So I'll tell you why there are so many copycat versions of these things out there as well. So yeah, these activations can definitely be causing old emotional and physical health issues to flare up. The reason is this energy is really going for the root cause and rehabilitating all the distortions. And so I guess we'll just jump right in. So, okay, just gonna charge up here. The Aurora energy is essentially a collective universal consciousness that is cross universal. So think about how source consciousness is kind of a part of everything, and there's almost this communication and flow of energy. There are quantum fibers of light that are connecting everything inside of what scientists are now calling the quantum field. And so, in this universe, in this universal body, just like how our body has a nervous system that is connected by the neurons and nerve cells, and also, very importantly, the cerebral spinal fluid, the universe is similarly all connected, and there is a universal network of energy, a universal nervous system. This is the filaments of photons of light information that is connecting all things. And the Stargate systems come into huge. I feel like the Stargates are really like the neuron connector sites in our brain. They're spaces that light, matter, and information can travel across the universe. And so there is a connector that, or a connecting force, or a material, a blood, a plasma that is giving life to everything in this universe. So there is a similar force that is beyond this universe, beyond source. And this is an energy that is inter-universal. It really feels like a big sister but grandmother energy. And this energy is basically coming into this universe at this time to support this universe in a rehabilitation phase. The reason why this universe needs rehabilitation is because we went through a lifetime or an experiment. So, universes, the different architecture of universal consciousness is basically an experiment of universal creation. So, every universe is a different architecture or a different system where individuals and creation and living systems and consciousness itself, it's different. It's a different expression, different experiment. So in this universe, we've been going through what is called the free will experiment. The free will experiment was basically this setup for a universal game to explore the infinite potential of what could be. There were several things that definitely went too far and went wrong with this experiment because obviously in the realm of infinite possibility there came the possibility of extreme degradation and kidnapping and ritual abuse and all of those things that are so horrendous and difficult for our angelic human consciousness to process. But the reason, the universal non-dual reason for this was because the universe went through this absolute free will experiment basically as a stepping stone or as a evolutionary step towards this ultimate the next experiment, which would be the divine will architecture. The divine will architecture is a mature architecture for a universe because it requires so much intelligence. It requires so much intelligence and consciousness and gnosis and structure and data and complexity in order for infinite numbers of living beings to all exist in their highest timeline, in their highest creative expression, while being infinitely diverse, while also being infinitely coexistent and harmonious. Okay, so the earth was kind of a template for this. When you look into the ecosystems, we see how thousands of living beings can coexist in one living system. And not only are they coexisting, they are interdependent. They are consistently exchanging matter and resources and nutrients and love and energies. And it's kind of immaculate how much data or how many aspects, how many strands of information there is in that system. Now, for that to exist on a universal level, that is a lot of, um, it's a very high, mature universal template. So we're experiencing a universe graduating into infinite intelligence and infinite divine will. And so through this past experiment, uh, um, we went through a lot. This universe went through a lot. So, in the realm of infinite free will, now I don't want you guys to think that this is a hierarchical thing because, oh, now God is going to be in charge of everything, is going to tell us what to do. For us who are operating in alignment with our higher self, that is in oneness with Source, it will feel like we have free will because we're just living in alignment with what is the highest for our soul. And in a system of true divine will, there is that consideration and that reality for all aspects of self. That's why it is a mature system of universal existence. That's why it requires a universe to develop itself to reach that level of universal consciousness. Okay? And so we are graduating into that system from this free will experiment inside of which there have been many players, many beings that have been pulled into different roles. Maybe they played the role of the part that is experiencing complete separation from source. And then they forgot that it's an experiment and just, believed in that reality so much that they're completely invested in it. And they went as far as to believe that the only way that they can survive or the only way that they can have power in this universal reality is by horrendously treating others or completely being service to self and parasiting of others. This extreme experience is what we're seeing in this mass reality of human trafficking and even worse things that happen in the underbellies of the earth. And so, um, all of these things that we see on earth of this fallen nature has reflections and pieces of them in our multidimensional reality. So on earth we have war, we have pestilence, we have human trafficking, we have abuse of power and narcissism and tyranny. We have the sexual misery programs, right? All of these ways that we are suffering and chaos and distortion exists on this planet, there are interdimensional, multidimensional, and cosmic reflections that also exist in the macrocosmic world. This is our galactic history. The things that have happened, many of us have memories of, forced breeding programs and abductions and galactic wars and planetary demise. Okay, all of those things are what has happened during this universal experiment of divine free will. Ultimately, the universe is learning very, 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 very many things from this experience, and it doesn't take away from the fact that shit got really fucked up, and now we are rehabilitating ourselves and the planet and the universe through this work that we're doing in conjunction with the Aurora energies, the Aurora collective, which is coming in from outside of this universe. um, this is really important for us to understand and to access because on a microcosmic level, it's like we're suffering inside of our body, right? So many of us are having such a hard time. And we believe that we have to muster up the strength inside of ourselves to heal, muster up the love inside of ourselves and calm ourselves and soothe ourselves when, there are higher energies that are here to support us at this time, because it could just seem like it's way too much to do on our own, right? Like if you've gone through, abuse or even breakups sometimes, abductions, genetic manipulation. So many of these things are so traumatic and painful. And everyone has gone through this because we all woke up in the false matrix, and the false matrix is the system of soul abuse, soul rape, forced to go to school to do things against our body's nature, and being forced to be injected with chemicals, and being forced to eat food that has been genetically modified. Um, all of these things have degraded our field and our DNA and our human selves in a way that is extremely traumatic. Okay, and so we have to give ourselves so much compassion and also so much pride for being here and for engaging in this level of healing. And also recognizing that there is so much celestial and cosmic support for us right now that sometimes we have to just crack a little bit open and allow these energies, know how to connect in with these energies, because these energies are also what is catalyzing and accelerating some of these experiences. So it'd be like the energy has initiated this because it's a medicine, it's medicinal. It has triggered these things to heal, and then you go into your little corner and you try to heal yourself when this energy has already made its presence known in our life. And it is such a powerful energy because it is carrying the vibration of ultimate purity, pure essence, true essence of living creation. I believe that all star seeds are working together, united by one consciousness: God consciousness, divine consciousness, universal consciousness, crystal consciousness, whatever you want to call it, Christ consciousness, Aurora consciousness. I really do believe that all star seeds are working together. And by starseeds, I really even mean all light workers, all people that are awake at this time, that have this desire to help in some way. And that is why my definition of starseed is very simple: it's somebody that has this divine spark inside of their heart that led them to wake up from this false matrix reality, to realize that something is really bizarre and wrong with the way most people are existing on this planet, and have this spark in their heart that is the love that is pulling them towards a destiny of supporting and helping the collective, helping the earth evolve in some way. That's it. Doesn't have to mean that you see aliens or feel like you're from some other planet at all. That star seed, the seed is of the star consciousness, celestial Christ divine love consciousness. And so a star seed could be somebody that is from the nature realms, from another dimension, that was a tree before, that was a deer before. I've seen a lot of animals that have incarnated into human bodies in order to be of service in a greater way in this lifetime. I've seen people that were previously like a star, literally, or just, a tree. So we've seen all sorts. And I would say that all of these beings are starseeds. This would also include the truthers and the disclosure community. Anyone that is awake at this time has the genetic markers to be awake, because what we're experiencing is a planetary activation, a planetary awakening. The planetary awakening is largely influenced by the sun, just like all consciousness is continuously influenced and given life to by the sun. The sun is the local stargate that radiates photonic light information onto the earth, and this has always been what's governed planetary evolution, right? So we see these waves of quickening in the planetary evolution throughout history when we dig up dinosaur bones and whatnot. So we see that grass basically appeared on the planet around the same time. And the reason for that is because there were genetic seeds that were activated by the solar rays at the same time on the planet. So this happens regularly all the time, that the sun orchestrates evolutionary processes. And so now we're seeing this evolutionary process of humans coming into a higher octave of consciousness, living in union, in connection, in gnosis and awareness of our higher nature, of our connection to source, of our embodiment of that, the fact that we're made of divine consciousness and that we were made to be avatars of this divine consciousness. So, this is the evolutionary process that the sun is now initiating on this planet. And so, those that are awake at this time are awake because their DNA is responding to the sun ahead of everyone else. And there's a reason for that. Okay, so I really believe that most people that are awake right now that want to help humanity, that has this spark in their heart and this knowing that they're meant to help humanity and do something about this situation on earth, that you are in fact a starseed, even if you don't resonate as much with aliens as much, right? And so for the beings that do resonate with star beings, I believe that all beings that resonate with star beings are connected to the guardians, connected to, because the guardians are just beings that are embodying this universal consciousness. Okay. And so the universal consciousness, there's not like six factions of God, there's just God. So when you get up there into the angelic realms, you'll realize that there's really only one organic hierarchy, and it's everybody's higher self. And it's not really a hierarchy, is more of a structure, an architecture, a system, right? A way that the universe organizes itself. And so I really believe that every starseed is connected to this unified mission. And the name that we use for this mission is the Christos Realignment Mission. And the beings that have all agreed to be a part of this are what is called the Guardians. And what is hosting this mission is the Aurora frequency, the Aurora consciousness that is coming from the inter-universal spaces, coming from other universes where that energy is already graduated, already whole, already held in pristine perfection, right? These already ascended, perfectly mature universes that are now experiencing universal co-creation. So, I'm getting really hot as I'm talking about that. So the aurora frequencies, we can connect to them it's a very opalescent energy. It's a pristine kind of white light, but within the white light, you can feel that there's actually the consciousness of spectrum, like all consciousness, all wisdom. When you shine all the colors of light and put them together, you actually get white, because white is the light that contains all colors, right? So it's a full spectrum white light that's not like the dead white light of the fluorescent light bulbs. I guess it's the opposite of that kind of white light. You can connect, this is, I believe, why the unicorn consciousness is so heightened at this time as well, because the unicorns, I think that they exist in a very resonant realm as the aurora light frequencies, the aurora consciousness. The mother arcing sites on earth that are holding the pristine 13-dimensional energies, those are very connected and sometimes powered by the aurora. They're actually, all of them are powered by the aurora consciousness. This is because this perfect consciousness of its perfect original template is coming into this universe to support in the rehabilitation of all fallen facets, lines, filaments of consciousness in this universal time matrix. So, one of the primary qualities of this consciousness is purity. Purity, pure essence, pure love. This is an energy that so many of us are actually deeply connected to, but because there's a misconception on earth that purity is somehow naive or weak or vulnerable, that we have to, muddle up our purity and take on, strength and courage. Um, Not to say that there is no strength and courage inside of purity, because in true reality, purity is the strongest frequency, actually. Because what purity is a complete gnosis of who you truly are. When you are connected to the primordial pure essence of creation, you are connected to your home frequency, your true self, your true soul's essence. And when you know that's what you are, then anything that is in distortion must collapse. Collapse. Yes, that's the word. It must collapse because it's like a diamond cutter. This is the diamond energy, right? It's this strong knowing, innate knowing. You don't have to try to know who you are. You just know the truth of who you are. What you're made of, it's this divine light, this divine love, is the pure essence. And when you know that so strongly, everything that is not that must collapse. And that's the power of this primordial purity, this true purity energy. It's not the same purity as this false distortion overlay of purity in the Christian church. They say, oh, the virgin. Like when people bring up the virgin energy on earth, is often actually a decapitation from that true power. It's a renunciation of true purity. It's saying, my true essence, my true sexual energy is impure, and so I must sever myself from it. And then that actually is the opposite of what true purity is. So we're connecting in with the true virgin energy. Actually, this is something that I had a dream about. I feel like the next womb healing container is all going to be about the reclamation and the restoration of the true virgin energy, which is actually the high empress, creational empress energy, because you're actually coming into embodying the highest power of your creation energy and reigning over that with mastery. So, this pure essence that is so powerful in its softness, in its joy, in its light. This is basically the vibration of the Aurora consciousness. One symbol that has arisen in the grid work is this white rose energy. And again, the white rose energy is one which is this powerful purification essence, which is, this Aurora energy. Before we can fully embody and exist as these brilliant, divine, masterful, ascended, pristine beings of light, we have to go through a purification process, right? So this is akin to Jesus in the desert when he was fasting for 40 days and the devil kept coming to tempt him with all sorts of things. I would say that Jesus was inside of his extreme ego training container at that time. But I feel like the next couple years, we are going to go through a similar thing where so many of us are going to begin to go through a rigorous cycle of ego training slash exams. And this is both for ourselves. It's not really God is testing us. It's really we're testing ourselves. We're testing ourselves and learning that we can really trust ourselves, that we can really trust our power, that we can really come into our full power without being, degraded by or tempted or seduced by the lower nature of this earth. So many light workers refuse, material stability and 3D creational abilities because they believe that, money is the root of all evil, because they believe that, if you step into that kind of role, that power, then you're gonna get pulled in. You're going to get seduced by the devil. You're going to turn into, somebody that works for the other side. And the truth of the matter is that so many of us have gone through so many rigorous trainings and so many lifetimes that our devotion to God, our devotion to creation, there is literally nothing that can take you away from that. That can seduce you away from that. Like once you have that, what else can you want? Once you have that connection to source, what more could one want? And so the next couple years, we will experience our purity, and we will also experience our purity be tested. And through the process of moving through those tests victoriously, we will come into greater power because we will then completely trust ourselves. We will gain this trust within ourselves. And I feel like that's primarily what it is. It's not like your guides and God is testing you. Most of the time, it's just we need to gain that trust inside. We need to learn that we can trust ourselves. We need to learn that we can believe in ourselves and know that gnosis, right? That knowing that we're pure, because that gnosis, again, being able to forge our connection to our gnosis is our greatest protection, is our greatest power. When we know who we are, then we, have that diamond essence where we are impenetrable. And so I really do feel like things like the Galactic Federation of Light, like what I believe happened is that the military has been given something like a looking glass technology by, negative factions like the Greys. And this basically allowed for the military, the negative control factions of the military to look into the future. I don't think that they could look beyond a certain point because every person that I've talked to about this, and I think even, whistleblowers from the military, they say that they can only see until 2012. And then beyond that point, no matter what they were looking at, either they couldn't see anything or the reality that they saw was not the one that they were hoping for, which is to say heaven on earth. So, but they saw that in the future, there were all of these star seeds that were ruining things for them. Starseeds coming up with new galactic technologies, new healing modalities. They were speaking this freaky light language that was just healing everyone. And so they're like, man, we gotta hijack these starseeds and stop them somehow. And so they created all sorts of starseed hijack programs. And years ago, my friend Alexis took me to this conference, Dimensions of Disclosure, in Ventura, California. And at that conference, which I really did not want to go to, I had no interest in going to this conference, but Source literally dragged me there. Like the last day, I literally felt something like take my body and walk it to the car and put me in the driver's seat. And I was like, okay, I think I have to go to this event. So at that event, I saw so many disclosure narratives. By the way, I asked, Source what I was doing at the conference, and I looked out my front window and I said Archon Protection Services or something like that. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm Galactic Guardian over here, Security Council, just paying attention, looking at things. And there were so many Starseed hijack programs. Timelines and programs that are taking starseeds away from discovering their own power and their superpowers, that are distracting starseeds to take on narratives by sprinkling things that starseeds would resonate. And the best example I can give about this would be Corey Good, but there's so many other ones. Obviously, Corey has completely been brought into light now that he has admitted that he has lied about all this stuff in his own court hearing. And the video of that is available on YouTube for anyone that wants to look that up. But, even back then, the clear guidance was that this was a person that was weaving starseed hijack programs. And I still know to this day starseeds that are going to these conferences all the time, that are feeling like they're seeing their soul family, but they're really kind of trauma bonding with each other based on confusion and, not really getting to work, not really doing, you know, what they're supposed to be doing, which is anchoring their higher consciousness and, training their light body so that they can facilitate planetary changes. And all of this require a lot of focus, just like when you're training to be a Navy SEAL. They don't just wake up one day and become, the most um, competent dudes in the world. And we are training to become the most competent creators in the world. So there's a lot of focus and training and self belief and self work that goes into that. And so I feel like these beings were placed in our world intentionally a lot. Not saying, okay, here's the other thing is that some star seeds actually are meant to be representatives of the galactics, but then they get hijacked because they think that they're the Galactic Federation of Light. And then because the Christic DNA hasn't come online fully yet inside of themselves, they're channeling this slightly distorted frequency from the CIA, which is placed there again to be an overlay of the true guardian consciousness, true guardian intelligence, true guardian collective. So again, this is not saying that, everyone that channels the Galactic Federation of Light is a shill, because it's absolutely not true, not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that um, these programs, they are built to annihilate our highest timeline. And so it's not really anyone's fault. Um, but it is really important at this time for us to truly triangulate into the highest organic frequencies of consciousness of this universal reality so that we can click in our own levels of higher dimensional aspects of self so that we can be on the timeline of our own soul's highest destiny. And because that highest destiny, it is such a specific angle. So for example, you shoot a rocket towards the moon, right? It's a long distance to a small target. So even if you are off by 0.005 degrees, you will probably miss the moon. Which is why these distraction programs, they're not very good. But all they have to do is distract you a little bit. And because your mission is so specific and so vibrationally fine-tuned that even a little bit of distortion is going to just take you off track, and that's all they needed. And so I believe that over the next few years, we will see a lot more star seeds because this is a homing beacon. This aurora frequency, the diamond light, the indigo light body activations, the 15D universal time matrix frequencies, these things are like a homing beacon that is finally coming online and radiating. And we're going to see so many star seeds start to align and find themselves back home. And this is why it's called the mothership. This is why Isa is called the mothership, because we really are holding this homing beacon frequency very strongly so that star seeds, all hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of star seeds, can fully come online so we can get the job done. We can turn the lights on and get the job done. So this frequency is interacting with our DNA because we're all coded with specific receptors in our DNA to interface with the planetary grid, with certain stargates, with these specific photons that are coming in through the sun. Because again, it's a collective effort, right? All of the angelic legions are working in oneness, in unison, in this mission, in this project. And so, whoo, all right. So in this um, next section of our time together, we're just going to tap in together to the Aurora energy. And then I want you to just pay attention to what is happening inside of your body, because that is going to indicate both where you are in your awakening process and also show you what are the next steps that you need to take to really take your mission to the next level in this year. Because the Aurora frequencies is our own highest self energy. Our highest self is this interuniversal, pristine, pure creation intelligence consciousness. It kind of looks like, pastels and cotton candy, but it feels like so much knowledge and wisdom that is held inside of just the gentlest frequency of pure love. And so this is actually our true source, our true home. And when that frequency begins to interact with our body, what it's trying to do is really fully integrate. And in the process of integration, everything that is not that, the trauma, the pain body, the implants, the entities, the karmic loops and, programs, patterns, all of those things are what is coming up. So if you have pain in your body, if you're feeling nauseous, if you can't sleep at night, and you're getting anxiety, if your digestion goes off, whatever it is that we say are ascension symptoms are what they really are is just, these high frequencies is not able to accrete through your body and light body properly. And because it's not able to accrete through properly, it's getting stuck in places. And when it gets stuck in places, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel those emotions start to bubble up because the energy is also pushing through. So he's pushing through the blockages and is revealing the blockages and it's bursting the blockages. And so part of this is also understanding how to work with the energies and surrender and allowing it to support you. Somebody says, I think I had too many cups. And it does feel like a planetary ayahuasca ceremony. And that's what it's going to be for the next few years and the next 20 years, really. I did a 2023 energy report last week, and it's all about our 20-year revolutionary cycle as Pluto is going into Aquarius for the next 20 years. And this revolution energy, it's going to require for humans to heal and to fully awaken. And that's going to be a fun process that the light workers and the starseeds will be ready for, because we will have been training for the next 2 years, preparing for that planetary activation. So the Aurora energy is coming online big time. There are hub sites. So Machu Picchu is one of these sites. There are so many major and primary and smaller hub sites. A hub site is basically a location on the earth, regularly, a vortex or a stargate location that is holding the pristine templates of original creation consciousness intact and is channeling in this high interuniversal aurora frequency to support, the grids in this transformation, to support the light workers, to support whatever needs that energy to support the transformations and the healings and the purges that are happening on the planet. So you will be drawn to these places. Many light workers with higher DNA templates that are activated will be called to these places to actually support in their activation. And to also, it's always an interchange, right? So when I went to Machu Picchu, I received so much. And I supported Machu Picchu in activating in these hub platforms and, allowing that hub platform to be used to facilitate the clearing of the Vatican. But I also received so much activation and healing in my own life as well. So these hub gate systems are oftentimes connected to water, to the mother arcing systems. There's now a new network of stargates coming online called the Trinity Hub Gates. Lisa Renee has written about this, but I think that there's even a new octave of these Trinity Hub Gates that are coming online now. Um, because, grid work has to happen in phases. And we've talked about this in my previous videos about the dragon line, how if energy just came up all of a sudden, we'd all freak out and get fried, and it would just be absolute chaos. So this is supporting us in connecting in with our own consciousness logos beyond 12D, the part of us that are still back at source on the other side, that are holding the perfect vibration of our original consciousness, the true essence of our soul. So as these frequencies are helping our human self, we can reach to the other side and begin to connect to ourself, begin to connect to our collective consciousness so that it can help in this process of rehabilitation, in the pain that we're now purging, the separation. I mean, that's probably the greatest pain, right? To feel abandoned by God, by our parents, to feel not good enough, not worthy of love, not worthy of being alive. Gosh, all of the anti-self viruses that were perpetuating and keeping us stuck in this lower dimensional reality, all of that is very painful to heal. And the Aurora platforms, gateways, passageways, they're all coming online at this time to be stabilized through the dragon lines to the end of 2024, and they are helping us. So yes, what I'm saying essentially is that we're going to be in for a 2-year long ayahuasca ceremony. So buckle up and remember how to, call on support. So Nico says, what do you think of people who might be awakened but have to stick to a carnivore diet due to serious health issues? Are they doomed? So, to be honest with you, I am actually myself primarily on a carnivore diet. I think there is something to this process. I don't believe in one diet fits all. I don't believe that fruitarians and vegans are the only ones that are going to ascend. In fact, many of them are very mineral deficient, and minerals are a big way that the water in our body is able to pick up celestial and crystalline consciousness. And so it's very individual, okay? Diet is individual. Like I've told you guys, even before I was pregnant with Kara, I was running a breatharian carnivore diet where I was only needing to eat every 2 or 3 days because there was so much light. Where I was living by the Stargate, and I was doing so much of this grid work. And when I was hungry, I was basically only eating local sourced. I would get a whole quarter of a cow because there was this very beautiful farm where I lived, and they called their cows by their first names. They would brush the cows and, all of this beautiful stuff. And at the end of the cow's life, they would very kindly, take those cows for food. And I feel like this is probably going to be it's not, it doesn't mean that we're going to be carnivores forever. I think it's a process, right? The grids right now, as it stands, I don't know if my body is just so specific, right? Because there's a lot of people that claim to be breatharians, and I believe them. Um, but I've not really seen them. Like, obviously, we're not seeing like news articles about people like performing miracles and stuff like Jesus, because if there was people doing that, we'd know about it. I also feel like that might not be the timeline this time because humans are really learning to be their own saviors, and they have this propensity to make other people saviors. And so if there was a bunch of people being all Jesus like, then like they're just gonna, give away their power, which is why I think Dr. Joe Dispenza is so cool. Like he's basically helping people walk. It's very biblical, but he's doing it from the perspective of science, and people have the ability inside of themselves. So anyway, somebody left me a YouTube comment on my last video and was like, "You ramble and I have no idea what you're talking about, and you're going so fast, and you really need to slow down and stop rambling so much." I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place. They're like, "You're all over the place." Um, so here's the thing with fruitarians is that I think that fruit is definitely a food that we're intended to eat, but also in some places there's no fruit growing. Like I have a friend that was born, in Iceland and they don't have fruit there, fruit trees. And now they import fruit, but like her ancestors ate mainly, seal blubber. Okay, and so she doesn't have the enzymes in her stomach to actually digest fruit. Every time she eats fruit, she gets really sick. And so, for somebody to just be dogmatic and say only fruitarians will ascend, how's that going to make that person feel? Okay. And it's just not true at the end of the day. So, diet is so specific to every person's specific journey. I was vegan for 4 years. Um, right now, some things that are really supportive are living water. Make sure that the water that you're drinking is really good and alive. It's really easy. If you have clean water, at least you can bring it back to life by singing to it. Put it in a glass jar, vortex it by spinning it in a circle, and just do something like, I love this water and this water loves me. And, do that for a couple minutes, and your water should be good, structured, good, and ready to drink, but make sure that is clean. A lot of city water will, like, you can test, like, if it is city water and or shallow well water, you can test it, but a lot of pharmaceuticals will not come up on the test. So you can basically be sure that there is chemicals and pharmaceuticals if you live in a city and your water comes from the city. So in those situations, um, I would recommend finding a spring if you can. You can go to findaspring.com or just search find a spring because, that spring water, especially a lot of springs get tested regularly. If it's a coming out of a mountain, it's a very good chance that it's not polluted. Shallow wells have this chance that they could be polluted by farm chemicals and things like that. So, I guess I'm not sure. I can hear somebody asking about reverse osmosis and double and distilling the water. Honestly, you just gotta ask yourself and ask the water because there's so many different ways of processing water, um, and you just gotta ask your body. Um, a really simple way to ask your body would just be like relaxing completely, and then say, "Body, show me yes," and then your body's gonna start tilting forward, and then you're going to go back and you're going to say, body, show me no. And then your body's going to start tilting backwards. It's like using your body as a pendulum. This is the easiest way to use applied kinesiology because your body is so big, it's kind of hard to miss the answer. Um, you can just ask your body, are you happy with the water that you're currently drinking? And then if your body says no, then just start asking like, do you want me to find spring water? Do I need to get a better filtration system? A really good thing to do is adding good mineralized salt and lemon to your water so that you are hydrating better. Um, and obviously, the obvious things are don't eat white sugar, don't eat seed oils, don't eat things that are designed to, intoxicate and kill you. And besides that, ask your body what it needs and stop pushing dogma onto other people because it's just not true for everyone. Fruitarianism could be the salvation to one person, and carnivore could be salvation to another person. And maybe some of us, don't need to eat at all, or other of us need to eat 10 meals a day for a few days. I mean, who are we to judge? So we're all different. Okay, so Rainbow Heart Medicine says diet is one of my favorite topics. I personally lost 100 pounds and kept it off by literally eating whatever my body asked me for. Right? That's so counter intuitive for a lot of people because they think like, oh, the body wants to eat a donut and the body wants, and it's like here we need to distinguish when it's the body needing a nutrient and when is the parasites and the fungus and the entities inside of our body that is hungry for certain things. And over time, you will learn, how to discern between those things. Okay. PJ says, I follow the Rambo pretty well. And that's what I figured. I figured some people, I mean, this energy is also super fast. The Aurora energy, have you guys noticed? Like, I was in my car the other day and I was like, woo! Like, the energy was so fast. And so, I don't know. You guys let me know if I'm rambling too much or if it's fun for you guys to go on a Starseed cosmic roller coaster with me. Oh my god. Does boiling restructure the water? Interesting. Um, I think I want to say no. Um, I think that boiling water could. Yeah, I don't feel like it restructures the water because in order for water to be restructured, it needs motion and vortex energy. Rainbow Heart Medicine says, and yeah, sometimes it asks for donuts and I eat it and I don't feel guilty doing it because it resonates at that moment. I love it. That's fantastic. Me too. Sometimes I feel like crap afterwards though. And then I'm like, I don't know, did my body really want that or now I feel like crap? Okay. Yeah, I think that's why I ramble is that sometimes things just want to information just are being called out. How does the aurora energy relate to the aurora borealis? So, I think that the aurora borealis happens when solar energy and solar pressure hits our atmosphere, which is very interesting. And then depending on the chemical structure and the minerals that are in the sky at that time, that dictates the color of the aurora. But more than anything, I feel like that flowing light, uh, dancing light kind of configuration, it's very similar to the flowing light configurations of the aurora as it is flowing into this universe. So I definitely feel that the aurora borealis is like a microcosmic representation of the aurora energy, and I actually personally am being called to to go and look at the aurora borealis. I think there's really cool grid work that we can be doing. It was really funny that so by seed oils, I really mean highly processed seed oils like I mean canola, palm oil, vegetable oil, you know, the oils that you never touch. I think that like raw pressed oils are probably good. Olive oil is actually probably good. A lot of oils, you got to ask your body because a lot of oils are mixed with other things or they sit on the store shelves for too long and they're basically rotten. So you really have to ask your body, like hold the bottle in your hand and say like, do you want this? And like wait for your body to wobble. Okay. Okay, so let us now connect in. And I'm gonna just do some support through the nervous system. We're gonna land through the mineral kingdoms, so the stones, the crystals. These are some very stable and cooling and supportive elemental energies. They're very good at receiving cosmic light, cosmic frequencies without, getting agitated because they're big rocks. So a lot of stones are supporting mountains, right? Mountains, a lot of mountains are just giant rocks. So stones, I mean, I've really, almost every place that I've gone to grid work, there's a mountain involved. So mountains are super cool and super supportive. A lot of them have inner caverns, crystal caverns inside of them. Somebody says the aurora light is an emanation from the innocence within Crystal Star for us to receive, and also is created from that place of innocence within inside of us. Absolutely. That's a great synopsis. G says, can you certify me to become a practitioner under your energy modality? I can. So what the EarthStar Academy does is supports you into coming into your highest energy holding potential. And that's, so you're going to be running your own highest frequency energy. Um, the EarthStar Academy is only a monthly membership, so I don't, it's not like $5,000 for a training or anything because it takes everybody a different amount of time. I'm offering other kinds of support as well. So it's really just about, I think it's about everyone coming into their highest energy holding potential, because then your own ancestors and your own skills and memories and abilities, what you're called to, it's all just going to be like whatever you create from your own highest frequency is going to be the highest timeline for yourself. So Shane says, look up Kangen water filters for restructuring. So I've heard that they actually have like a piece of metal in their machines that leaks some sort of metal into the water. This is from my friend who's like super into water tech and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna step away from that. Is there energy? Wait, is there a way to cure infertility? Yes, absolutely, absolutely, 100%. I've seen it happen again and again and again. I've had this happen inside of my womb healing containers. Um, I absolutely know for a fact that you can quote unquote cure infertility. It really depends. The cause really depends. It could be that, your contracted children is not time for them to come in yet. You could be, there could be pathogens inside of your body. It could be a soul contract. It could be a past life soul contract. It could be an ancestral curse. It could be literally anything. So all disease are caused by an arrangement of so many things. And I really I want to hang out with you guys, but I also want to give you guys what I said I was going to offer, which was this nervous system support. So I got to cover the chat just for a little bit here, even though I love hanging out with you guys. I get way too distracted. Okay. So let's go ahead and rub our hands together and just build up some good energy there. Okay, and then first I want you to place your hands on the top of your head and just breathe. And allow that energy to soothe your mind, your mental activity, to charge up our neurons and the cerebral spinal fluid caverns. Okay, and really feel that energy kind of start to descend down through the spinal column, down into the body, bringing us into a more relaxed state. And really try to pay attention to places in the body where it's resisting relaxation. Okay, you don't have to force anything, you don't have to push it through, you just gotta pay attention. Okay, now we're gonna rub our hands together again. Now we're gonna place our hands on our heart and breathe, allowing that charge to nourish and calm our thymus gland, our vagal nerves. You want to take some deep breaths. If you're yawning, it means that it's a good release happening. Okay, now rub our hands together and then place our hands over our belly. And breathe into our belly, breathing, expanding the belly, feeling our belly expand. Then breathe out. Again, breathing all the way into, like if you're a woman, feel your breath reach all the way into the cervical nerves. And if you're a dude, I'm not really sure which body part that would be. But you can breathe all the way down, even into the perineum, which is between, where the poop comes out and where the scrotum is. I don't know. I think I'm 12. Body parts are funny sometimes. Okay, so breathe all the way down. Bring your breath down there and feel the release that happens when your awareness and your breath moves all the way down. And we want to release the pelvic girdle. So a lot of times when people are anxious, it's actually their pelvic girdle that is tense. You'll see this when, like, it's almost like you're holding your pee in, right? But you're just stuck frozen in that tension. So want to just fully relax the pelvic muscles. And just allow this breath and your awareness to intend for it to happen with ease. Okay, now we're going to bring our awareness into the crystalline waterways. So you're going to intend for your consciousness to be taken to the closest crystal water wave to your house. Now that might be underground. It might be a river. For me, it's a river that comes from this lake. And I want you to just pay attention to the river and feel if the river is oscillating in its highest energy holding potential, or if it is needing a little bit of a tune up in this moment when it has the opportunity to receive and reconnect to the crystal river host, the Aurora collective consciousness. Okay, it's a very reciprocal process, right? I heal you, you heal me, I support you, you support me. We're going to ascend as a collective together. The elements, the water molecules. Okay, so we're really going to connect with the crystal river host, the Crystalla energies, the highest frequencies of original source creation consciousness, pure divine love, diamond light from beyond this universe. And allow for that energy to template the waterway that is around you. Whew. Okay, and sometimes when we feel energies outside of us, it serves as a reflection. So we're seeing this pristine, crystalline energy, and then turning that inside and remembering this crystalline purity that we have inside of ourselves. The innocence, the place inside of us that has nothing to prove to others, no worth to be proven, that is just always eternally sitting in the reality that we are eternally loved forever, always. Just in this now, not for doing anything, not for being in any way, but just as we are. And our destiny is not something that we have to fight for or fear we might not achieve. But all we have to do is meet it with earnest devotion, right? Earnest decision to be in alignment, to make the right decisions in our day-to-day life. To be an innocent, open heart field to receive what is in the highest for us. allowing that white rose purification, purity energy to unfurl and open in our heart space. To feel that belonging in the universe, that belonging in the family of light, in the Aurora Collective, where we are all so important in our own role, and we're so appreciated by each other, and we appreciate each and every one of us, our uniqueness, our sameness, recognizing that our power, our magic, our secret sauce, it really comes from the same source. And we are united by our love for creation, our love for humanity, our love for all of the living creatures that are on this planet. And allowing that love to be our guidance system, that love that we feel for others, it's also so readily received, so ready to be received, so ready to be given to us. We are loved beyond, what most of us can fathom when we're going through our day-to-day life. And just allow that belonging, that unity, that oneness that you're feeling here. And also the acceptance, the forgiveness, the realization that we're all just doing our best in this crazy situation that we're in. And even if people aren't doing things the way that we would do them, that they're still a part of creation. Even if people have forgotten that they're this and they're doing crazy stuff, they still have this opportunity to come back to be loved by this force. And this power of this innocence inside of us has the ability to dissolve even the most intense and strong of distortions, delusions, psychosis. I believe that these frequencies and this way of rehabilitation is the cure to pedophilia and those kinds of things. Because once humans understand the power of choice to choose to align, to choose gnosis of our true essence, then everything that's not that will fall away, be digested, be rehabilitated. And we are doing that first. This process is happening inside of our body first. So allowing that purity, just choosing that purity, that innocence inside of us, and allowing it every time something that is not that love comes up, every time there is fear or judgment or anxiety or pain, allowing ourselves to come back into center, into alignment, into connection with this still point of true love that the universe feels for us, allowing this truth to collapse. Whew. All that is not that, and it can be as simple as that. Sometimes it wants us to spin into victimization and be all dramatic about it. I understand. I do it too. But practicing this ease, where we can just allow all that is not this pure love to simply no longer exist, and trusting that it can be as simple and as easy as that. It's a mastery process, it's a mastery practice. It's not easy when you first try it, but that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's never going to work for you. It just means that it's a muscle that you have to practice. This level of ease is available to each and every single one of us. It comes down to practicing realignment, choosing, right? Reminding ourselves of our gnosis, our knowing, reminding ourselves that we know what is the true essence of our being. And once we know, then that knowingness collapses everything else that is not that. The power of our knowing is such a great medicine. Okay, and so for those of us that are feeling different things in our body right now, this is your roadmap, okay? So if you're feeling tension in your belly or in your back or you're a headache or you're feeling emotions coming up, this is a really good thing. And we can just ask ourselves, what is the emotional tension underneath this sensation? And normally you'll start to feel an emotion. Um, Maybe it's rejection or abandonment. Any of these frequencies that cause our body to seize up. And breathe. Come back into center. Reconnect with your gnosis of who you truly are and how loved you truly are. How much cosmic celestial support you have. Connect to the crystal river host, to the crystalline waterways that we have just activated around you, to the Aurora forces that are beyond this universe, to remind us of our own pristine, original, eternal consciousness. Allowing that knowing to collapse anything that is not that. Knowing that your purity and your knowing of your purity is the greatest power. This is really the shortcut to resolving all karma, all entity attacks, all entities, psychic attacks, whatever else that, sometimes gives us a lot of grief. Okay, now we're just going to transmit a frequency connecting in with the cosmic cerebral spinal fluid that is the plasma energy all around us, allowing us to actually ground into this fluid space around us. Right? Sometimes the static energy is what gets us. We're like, oh no, like I'm being attacked and I have this pain and this is so hard. These energies are crazy and oh my God, it feels like a lot. And really there's these little fibers, cilia, that the neurons, it's like we have the nerve cells and then the neurons have these little roots in the cerebral spinal fluid. And the cerebral spinal fluid is really cool because it's literally the water. Water is like between matter and ether. It's a matter state between physicality and ether. So water is like an in-between space, right? So we have cerebral spinal fluid all around our entire nervous system and around our brain. And I believe our nervous system is what allows our soul to click in and walk into our body, exist inside of our physical body, is what connects our spirit self with our physical self. And so all of that is surrounded by cerebral spinal fluid, which is a water, interestingly enough. So the water is the intermediary, interstitial matter between spirit and physicality. And so there is a way to perceive. I mean, I've felt into the water frequency in space. If you do mushrooms or something, you'll definitely feel it. Sometimes you'll start to feel like the watery realms in the air in just a different dimensional space. So we want to connect into that watery space and want to grow our little Acelia into that water so that we can regulate. We can regulate our nervous system. We can allow the cosmic information that is hitting our body, creating all of this agitation, to chill, to be soothed, to neutralize, to integrate. I almost feel like we're growing these little fibers into the watery dimensions. I feel how soothing and calming that feels. Yeah. Okay. So let's just sit here for a while, integrating in this watery energy. Okay, and now that our energy and our nervous system is held and stabilized by this cosmic cerebral spinal fluid, let's actually bring that Aurora light back in, connecting to our highest essential self, our highest dimensional consciousness energy from beyond this universe into the crystal star network, into the Aurora that is connecting the universes, allowing that Aurora light to once again flow into our field. And it's being picked up by the innocence inside of us. It's resurrecting, bringing our purity into the highest energy amplitude, that the highest frequency energy expression in our body and our consciousness is our innocence, is our purity, amplifying our purity and our love, our divine innocence, and that is growing up to meet this universal Aurora energy. And see how now, as the activations and healings happen, we are still grounded. Breathe. Still connected into the watery, cerebral, celestial spinal fluid, the plasmic aurora frequency, grounding into the waterways near you, raising the vibration of the water to hold its highest frequency holding potential, growing our fibers into the plasmic watery light, receiving the Aurora light cleanse. We are commanding for all of our consciousness energy to be brought back into our own body and field in this now. Bring all of our awareness back into our physical body. And breathe, greeting our physical body with joy. What a wonderful living creature that we are. Sealing up our aura. Only our own soul's essence and our own inner gateway connections into universal creation remain open. Breathe now, allowing all energies not of your own soul's energy to leave, slide off of you with ease and grace. Whew. Taisha Intadoe, eternal love, eternal light, eternal life be with you. We are the gifts to humanity. Each of us with our activated filaments of light, channeling pure original divine source, living creation consciousness. And the practice is that we are purifying, opening our vessels and corridors of energy flow so that we each can come into our own highest energy holding potential. And from that place, activating our highest creative potential as well, and devoting our energy and creation to the fulfillment of our collective mission here on earth, the co-creation of heaven on earth. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and for coming to this transmission live. I am hoping that this was supportive in your life, in your journey, in your assimilation of these energies at this time. We do have a Q&A session tomorrow inside of the EarthStar Academy container at noon, so I will see you guys there. And welcome to the mothership. If this was your first introduction to our work, we're working on some amazing videos and meditations and things like that for this YouTube channel for this year. So we're excited to grow and share with you. If you like this video, share it with your friends because we do want to let all the starseeds know that they are supported by these energies. I am here as a part, as an emanation of this energy in support of our collective ascension. So much love to everyone. Make sure you go out and ground into the earth, ground into the plasma, and sending you so much love from my family and my heart to yours. Bye for now.